You want microgreens for juice, but they're just too darn expensive? Well, grow your own at home for pennies on the dollar compared to these at the store. At $2.50 a piece, that's about $30 a flat. Come check it out and see how we can do this for a lot cheaper. What's going on, folks? Today we're in the kitchen and we're talking about microgreens, specifically wheatgrass. So we got a couple of mason jars disinfecting in the sink here. We got some wheat berries here. This is wheatgrass seed. They call it wheat berries. I don't know why. So we are going to soak this for a few days in these jars with a screen lid on. Once they're nice and sprouted, then we'll put them in trays. So I'm going to put 1 cup of wheat berries into each jar. That's the total amount per flat that I'm going to use for total. Let's get started. Okay, so I got these guys rinsed out. Here's the 1 cup mark. There's a little mark there for 1 cup, so I'm just going to use that. So I am going to let them soak for the first day. That's going to give everything a great chance at germinating and make sure every seed has a consistent amount of moisture. After that, I will leave them in the jars draining upside down for a couple of days, like we talked about earlier. So these seeds have more than doubled in the last day. This is day 2 of germinating these wheatgrass seeds, and as you can see, there are some. You can see the tips are coming out, so they are germinating. Looking good, folks. So we are just rinsing these seeds out, and that's all. Just nice and simple. Day 2, they are now done soaking, and now we're just going to let them hang out in their bottle and germinate. All right, here we are. It's day 5. We got the wheatgrass microgreens. They've totally filled up the jars. Looking good. They started down at the 1 cup mark, and now they've totally filled the jars. You can see there's a lot of sprouts in there. Looking good. They're almost to the point where they're too sprouted. If I let them go any longer, they're going to be really hard to get out of this jar. So we're going to put them in the flat today. You really only need to soak them overnight for like the first day. After that, you could plant them. I tend to leave them in the jar because that gives them less time in the tray to grow mold and things like that. So I'm going to get some media in these trays and let's get planting. So you can see it with these trays, there's holes in the bottom. So I have a tray with the holes inside of a solid tray so it doesn't leak water all over the place. And then I have a tray to put over the top. So I'm going to do a bit of an experiment here. In one tray I'm going to do potting soil like I've always done, and in the other tray I'm going to use the sifted bonsai fines just to see how it works for this. I don't really have anything else to use them for, so if it works for this, that'd be a great way to get rid of them. I should also mention that I did sanitize those trays in bleach water, so like a diluted bleach solution. Just let them soak for about an hour earlier today. And now the potting soil, probably a little more than I needed there as well. You only need about a 1/2 inch. All right, there we go. I'm going to water these down and we'll get planting. All right, so one thing I do is I do like to compact the media, just so it's less likely to kind of be loose and come up as the sprouts grow. Let it stay with. So we'll just get this all compacted down really nicely. All right, let's get these guys planted. Just going to unscrew the jar here. You can see a couple of the sprouts have grown into the screen. So what you're going for is a nice, just even layer of seeds. If you get them too thickly packed or densely packed in there, that's kind of a recipe for mold. So what you're going for is a nice even layer. You just want to get that nice even layer. So you don't want any of the potting soil on top of the seeds. You just want them to root down into it. That way it keeps the dirt out of the finished product. That's why we compacted that soil down. All right, we'll give them one more watering and be ready to put them on the shelf. This is just tap water. This tap water has been sitting out for a couple of days, but it's just regular old tap water. Our tap water has a pH of about 7, so it's a little high, but they seem to do okay. So the next step, I am just going to lay these trays with no holes over the top of the seedlings, and that's just going to help keep moisture in there and keep them in the dark and give them a good head start. So they will start to push up out of here in a few days. And we are with the wheatgrass, day 8, pushing up the lid. All right, so the lid's going back on. This time I'm going to put it on like this. Try and get everything in there. So now it's going to sit like that for a couple more days. So I am calling off the experiment with the turfus. This tray, it's not doing well. It's got mold. It's stinking. I don't know what went wrong here, but it is definitely a failure. Day 10, wheatgrass microgreens. The lid is being pushed up by the wheatgrass now, as you can see here. So it's time to take the lid off, put some light on it, and finish them off. It's day 13 and the wheatgrass is ready to harvest. So we can make juice out of this anytime we want. It's looking nice and thick and green. So we've got a whole tray here to go through. I probably won't do the whole thing at once. Sometimes that's a little bit much. We'll use it in juice and smoothies and any kind of healthy eating we're trying to do, but mostly juice and smoothies. So the next step is harvesting this. I can harvest it now. I could have harvested it anywhere from day 10 to I've harvested it up to like day 18. I've been giving this a light overhead watering once a day when I turn the light on. I just have 2 T8 fluorescents. These are actually really old bulbs, so they're probably past their prime, but they still grained it up really nice. It is day 22 and I have let this wheatgrass go on for way too long. Things got in the way, I haven't been able to harvest it, but we're going to harvest it now. I'm just going to use this knife to harvest it. It's a nice sharp knife. You can use scissors or whatever you've got. So I just grab a handful here. Alright, there we go, folks. Got a nice big container of wheatgrass that's going to give us a lot of juice. You can regrow these trays. I am not going to do that. I have found that the quality goes down after the second grow, and you need to start fertilizing it to get quality out of it. And I think a lot of the benefit comes out of that first, that energy that's stored in the seed. So I don't bother with growing it a second time. I'm just going to stick with the one time, and I'll grow another tray if I need it. You can see that it's grown some really nice roots in here, looking really good. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.